Nobody talks about this, or at least no one has told me. I had to learn the hard way. So I've got 5 tips on how to optimize your bass drum pedal. Stick around until the end of the video for a bonus tip. Have you ever played with the wrong size sticks? Can you use them? Sure, but it's not optimal. You won't play to your fullest potential. The same can be said if your bass drum pedal isn't fully optimized. It can feel like it's weighing you down. By the way, these tips will not instantly make you a beast at double bass. You'll still need to practice and develop your technique, but hopefully at the end of this video, you'll have a solid foundation to work with. Tip number 1 isn't even about your pedal. Adjust the height of your throne. Now, I personally recommend you set the height where your legs are just a little over 90 degrees. But there's something to be said about sitting low that also gives some sort of benefit. So just set your throne to a height where you can easily push down on the pedal with minimal effort. Tip number 2 would be to play with your heels down or up. It really is a preference thing, just like the throne height. But I do think it correlates with throne height. If you sit high, you're going to want to play with your heels up, and if you sit low, you're going to want to play with your heels down. And that's why I recommend that sweet spot of like just over 90 degrees, because it's going to allow you to play with your heels up or down relatively comfortably. Tip number 3 is to tighten up your bass drum head tension. Detach your spring and bounce your beater off the head. If your beater doesn't bounce, it's too loose. Now, I get that you want a deep sounding bass drum, but you should never chase a particular drum sound on a recording, because with all that compression and EQ, you're never going to achieve that sound natively from your drum. That being said, if you want the best of both worlds, I recommend going with a thicker 2-ply head. The thicker the head, the more bass frequency. So don't set your heads too loose. Tighten them up a little and give your beater a little bit of bounce. Tip number 4 is to set your beater's height and angle. Now, this was an aspect that never made a lot of sense to me. I mean, we were taught to hold the sticks behind the fulcrum. So when it comes to our bass drum beaters, fulcrum be damned? I mean, that's pretty much true. You can adjust a little bit when it comes to height, but you really do want your beaters to hit that sweet spot in the middle of your bass drum. So I suggest experimenting with beater weights. These make your beaters heavier. You can place them anywhere on the shaft, making the fulcrum point more accessible. So depending on your spring tension, might be just what you need. I guess that's a good segue into tip number 5, which is adjust your spring tension. Some metal players will encourage you to crank that spring as tight as it'll go, and that's honestly bad advice. You're looking for just enough tension where you can rest your foot on the pedal without touching the drum head. While your feet are on the pedal, the beater should be 2 to 3 inches from the drum head. This will allow you to push your foot down effortlessly while still getting a good return. Conversely, your return can also be assisted by your head tension, as mentioned in tip number 3. Also remember that your springs do wear out after a while. So if your springs don't give as much return as it once did, it's worn out and it's time to replace them. I'm not entirely sure when you should replace your springs, but since springs are less than $10, I see nothing wrong with once a year. I got mine from Tama for $7. Hey guys, Future Jared here after finishing filming the video, and I just gotta tell you, I did not know that replacing the springs on my Iron Cobras was gonna be so difficult. But I persevered, I got them done, and it actually works out really well. Listen, I just want to warn you, depending on your make and model of pedals, replacing your springs might be a task. So just get ready for that, but the payoff is worth it. The work is so worth it. I got grease all over my hands. And as promised, here is your bonus tip. Make sure and warm up. Seriously. Don't set at a drum set and expect to immediately pop off with Meshuggah's bleed. Get loosened up first. My suggestion, do you remember the 8 in the hand warm-up exercise? Well, try 8 in a foot, 8 in a shoe. I don't know, I'm working on the title. Comment below with which one you prefer. And while you're at it, hit that like button. You just watched this video all the way to the end, so you obviously liked it. That's it for my tips. Now go tinker with your bass drum pedals like I'm doing here and unlock your true potential. But as always, have fun drumming.